And that was a very loud disruption because the dog just, Daddy! Poof. Anyway, so I'm back. Anyway, want to talk about this. So basically, the Hollywood Reporter in the articles and the description, if you want to read it, goes into detail about the problems with getting KENOBI started up. First off, basically, what was going on was they had the scripts, and somehow, and I'm not sure of the timing, it says Deborah Chow went to Favreau and Filoni and showed them the scripts they had. Now, I gotta say this. I think Favreau and Filoni probably knew before. This is a story they're putting out there. But I think the reason why Hosseini got fired, the writer that Kennedy wanted, her Academy Award winner, is because he didn't do a good job. Okay, he was not, he didn't really do a good job. The story was too much of like Lone Wolf and Cub with Obi-Wan and Luke, and it was too much like Mandalorian. So what they did was hire a different writer and reworked them. Darth Maul was supposed to be the big bad guy hunting for Obi-Wan, and he ended up being canned. Apparently, Ray Park did actually do either costume fitting or some testing of the costume. There might actually be scenes shot. There's in the article, there's discrepancies of people going back and forth. They're not sure. So we've got that going on, and it's very interesting watching all this and seeing it all play out. They give Kennedy the victory of putting the kibosh on filming the old scripts. She halted production. She probably halted production because Iger said, you gotta halt production. This is, John and Dave are right, we can't film this. And Chapek is like, why is she still here? Why? It's just very interesting to me watching this. And of course, the Hollywood Reporter is Bob Chapek's mouthpiece, okay? And it's very interesting to me how this is all playing out. And we've got the leaks coming out with Jason Ward, with the pictures of obviously Imperial supporting Mandalorians, with the red helmets with the white slashes that look a little bit, to me, like Stormtrooper masks. They're Mandalorian, but they give off that feeling of Stormtroopers. Are they trying to sink it? Well, here's the deal. You've got Kennedy doing PR on EW. It doesn't, look, if you honestly think that EW is a serious magazine, you're smoking some really fine crack, and I want to have some too. It's not. It's a PR driven magazine with there's no real substance to it, and it doesn't matter if she does that. Okay? Doesn't matter. What's interesting to note is the article says Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are the stewards of Star Wars. Okay? She might be listed as a producer of one episode. Okay? They're not listed. But what is said in the article says they're the ones, because Deborah Chow is their girl, they're the ones that stepped in and took it over. Okay? This article is a very nice way of saying Kathy's handpicked person sucks. John and Dave took it over and fixed it. Okay, but read it for yourself because it's very interesting how regardless if she's mentioned in the article, she's really kind of put on the back burner, or back boner, God, burner, okay? Very interesting to me watching this. And I don't really see, I mean, I could see the SJWs at Lucasfilm wanting to sink this. I mean, Darth Maul is gone. He's not going to be the bad guy. We saw the Grand Inquisitor. I've seen people crying on, in chat rooms or in chats and on Facebook pages about, I'm so sick of helicopter lightsabers. Well, that's what the Grand Inquisitor has. What do you want? Stop it. Quit bitching. Okay? I would say the people that want to sink it are the black pills. When someone says, I hope you're right, they're being disingenuous. They don't hope you're right. Okay. When someone says, I hope it's successful, they don't want it to be successful. You gotta look at how the tone of voice, where that phrase or those phrases are put in a sentence. And who's saying it. Okay. All right. The show will either be successful or not. What Disney's problem is, in my opinion, is Kathy Kennedy. Her doing interviews. Because it gives those people, I hope you're right. Well, fuck you. Okay, fuck you. Okay, I don't want to hear about it. You want to go suck your thumb and be a crybaby. Go sit over in the corner and do it. Okay? It takes away any of the ammo that they have if she is not out front. Okay? But this article, without saying it, pretty much convinces me that she had nothing to do with what we're going to see on Disney Plus. Okay? And regardless of what people think, that was a really good trailer. Now, I have a rule of thumb. If the trailer's good, the movie's going to be bad. But every trailer for Solo was terrible, and the movie sucked because there was nothing to cut. It was just one sucky thing after another. Okay, it was just stupid. But we all know that. So, what does it mean? To me, it just means that Kennedy is getting attention. Because Disney's like, okay, fine, let her do it. But she's bad PR for them. They give people that don't like them and have decided everything that Disney does, even if it's good, is bad. Okay. What? Ammunition. Okay. My bitch with all this is Kennedy. Bad enough to see her listed as an executive producer. Me knowing she had nothing to do with any of this. Me knowing that Iger, of all people, and JPEG took KENOBI away from her and gave it to Deborah Chow and Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. All right. They can't do Star Wars without it going through Dave Filoni anymore. Okay? All right. And Jon Favreau is the last word, not Kathy. Okay? There are a lot of people out there that still imagine her to be the most powerful woman in Hollywood. Really? I really wonder how Susan Arnold feels about that, considering she actually runs a multi-billion dollar corporation that basically is the owner of the biggest studios in Hollywood. Who's the most influential woman in Hollywood? Not Kathleen Kennedy. Okay? All right. So stop with that delusion. All right? The people I think that want to sink it are not the people that are involved. And the reason why I say that is because Kennedy's name is on there. Why would she want to sink something with her name on it? You don't see John and Dave listed. Okay? You don't. All right? At all, anywhere in the IMDb credits. Okay? And I'm going to tell people, you're going to have to get used to seeing Kathy's name on there, even after she's gone. Those are the Producers Guild of America rules. Okay, she gets executive producer status, she gets money. That's the rule. Okay, I'm sorry that's hard to understand or accept, but there it is. But like going back to the article, they even replaced the kid playing Luke, and the kid they got, Grant Feely, it looks just like him and Mark and Hayden. And oh, by the way, apparently Mark Hamill has been having a Twitter war, I think, with Ben Shapiro. I don't like Ben Shapiro. I've not made that. I made that plain. He's as phony as they come. Okay. The guy's claim to fame is he goes to colleges and gets into arguments with college students. Wow. Wow. Okay. Not very. You know, I mean, that's his claim to fame. So, if I had my way, I'd take them both by the scruff of the neck and do that with them. Knock it off. Mark Hamill's on Twitter. He's almost 70 years old. Why? I mean, trying to stay relevant. Twitter's, I haven't looked at their stock price, but yesterday it was at $31. I mean, only weirdos, geeks and freaks, creeps and freaks use Twitter. Nobody else does. Morning, Anton. So, no, I think it's the black pills that want to sink KENOBI. Okay? Oh, I don't like that trailer. Why? They don't, I mean, even their carping doesn't make any sense. So, I don't see the strategy. Now, if Filoni and Favreau had their names on this, and were taking a overtly active role in the production of this, you're damn right. I could see Kennedy's people wanting to sink it. Okay? I mean, but I don't see them doing that right now. I really, really don't. Anyway, what else is going on? Oh, all right. The situation at Disney with the SJWs. I sent a letter to Bob Chapek, to his office. I sent typed out a letter, put it in an envelope, and it's on its way. All right. My advice to him is, don't go back on what you first said. Okay. If these people are complaining, fire them. Okay. In fact, Cameron Pasha and Jason on Sci-Fi for Me, that channel, basically, I mean, Jason's, wondering out loud, why don't they just sell Pixar? Now, they have a lot invested in the parks with Woody and all the rest of that. But think about it. If Disney sold Pixar, I mean, look, their shows are all going to streaming. Okay? They're not making feature films anymore. That ship has sailed. Why? Because the quality of product that Pixar is producing is trash on steroids. Okay? Trash. All right? And I don't see Disney really feeling like they can get a big bang for their buck from these people. So, maybe selling Pixar is a good idea. All right. Now, am I saying they're going to sell it? But that could go a long way to paying off some debt. And I don't think they've invested nearly as much in Pixar as they have in Lucasfilm. Okay. Now, another story. They really can't fill up the Galaxy's Edge Hotel. All right. the occupant, it's basically empty. No one wants to go. All right, it's too expensive, and it's my washer's done. I got to take the wash out. I'm not gonna be on very much longer anyway. It's too expensive. It's stupid, and it's lame. Okay, so we got that going on. But there's a lot you can do with Galaxy's Edge, and reskin it, redo Rise of the Resistance to be Endor. There's a lot of good that can come out of Star Wars. I really don't see a lot of good coming out for Disney with Pixar. There's only so much you can do with that product that they're selling. All right. There isn't a franchise. I mean, there is with Toy Story. Okay. There is with Cars. There is with Finding Nemo. But the people that ran that are gone. Not only was John Lasseter kicked out, but somebody else was kicked out, Peter something, and they chased him out too. Okay. So when you've got a floundering company and it's just sitting there and the employees are causing you trouble, either fire them or sell the company. Okay, that's my advice. I thought, what a good idea. Then they can concentrate more on good Star Wars, good Marvel, good Disney animation. All right. You don't need Pixar if Pixar is going to be doing what they're doing. Okay. My opinion, I really think that this is something that Chapek and Arnold should look into. Anyway, what else is going on? Turning red. I don't know about you guys, but every person I know, because I go to Catholic church, and I'm connected very much to my old parish in Stafford. Everybody I know that has kids that has seen this hates it. The message is an attack on parental authority. The little girl slaps her mother. And it's just not something that, people want to see. That it's not a good family show. Okay? And I had anyway, it's just, I mean, so they have a problem. All right, and I'm not talking about Disney. All right, I'm talking about Pixar. If this is what they're producing, and they have the balls to go up to Bob Chapek and say, you shouldn't censor what we're doing. We're making good stuff for people to watch. No, you're not. The reactions by mothers and fathers and their kids to Turning Red has been explicitly, this sucks. Okay? And Disney has to know the reaction by the fans is like, I think Pixar is tired. Well, the rewrites came from Favreau's people, so I don't know why you're concerned. If you read the article, they got the scripts that were way too much like Mandalorian, and Joby, what's his name, reworked them into something different, and him and Deborah Chow belong to Jon Favreau. So I don't know why you're concerned. Okay? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. Okay? Really doesn't. Again, I don't get people. I read the article, I read the same article. I was like, oh, cool, looks like Jon Favreau really is in charge of Kenobi. They're just letting Kathy take credit. Okay, I can see that. I'm fine with it. All right? I mean, this may be her last thing she's doing. They actually started pre-production before Mandalorian came out. Okay? right? They started writing it before Mandalorian came out. So he wasn't given the opportunity to look at that and to give his 2 cents until Mandalorian went in and was a huge hit. Okay? So, no, he wasn't. I don't know. And in fact, I just got a message from Cameron. Favreau just revealed he seized Kenobi from Kennedy. That's what that is. Right there. Okay? Kennedy's scripts were terrible. Her writer got fired. They brought in Deborah Chow and a different writer. All right? The timeline, in my opinion, was fudged to give Kennedy a little bit of cover. Okay? I really think that she's on her way out. Okay? I really, really think that. My problem with everything else, though, is that somehow Chapek has got to get rid of these SJWs. Now, the fact that they complained, the fact that a letter that they wrote to him made it to the public, the fact that his memo back made it out to public, he's got names, okay? Now, fiscal year for Disney ends on October 1st. You might see a lot of Pixar employees leaving then, not being renewed, okay? And the further away October 1st is from right now, the better, okay? All Chapek has to do is really do nothing right now. Pretend to go along with it and do nothing, all right? Hey, White Phoenix, and that's it. And once he's got them at the negotiating table, he can just say, we're not renewing your contract. And again, there's also the possibility we're putting Pixar up for sale. Who wants it? We'll do the park, okay? But whoever wants to actually buy Pixar is perfectly fine to buy it from us, and here's the price. Okay, I could see them doing that. Be a perfect way to cut some debt, again, like I said, and to get rid of a bunch of troublemakers, okay? And I could see them doing that, but it's very interesting, everything happening. Let's see, the Kenobi thing. Oh yeah, I want to talk a little bit about this. As you guys know, Jane Campion attacked Sam Elliott for his basically very honest assessment of the power of the dog. Okay? So it was crap. And basically was a great big dump on, hey Dave, on the Western. Interesting little thing you talked about in Sci-Fi for Me's chat today. Send me an email, okay? I'm very interested in hearing some stuff. Basically, Campion made a movie that deconstructed the Western mythology that Americans have and attacked masculinity by using homosexuality as a weapon, which is what awfuls do. What is an awful? Affluent, white, female, ultra leftist, okay? That's what an awful is, all right? Oh, I've talked about the piano. The piano's just terrible, and I gotta say that when there's a scene in there, I mean, I love Harvey Keitel, I think he's a great actor, but I really didn't need to see him full frontal naked. I was like, there are guys you want to see, me as a woman, I want to see naked, and there are guys that I'd rather not. I would rather not see him naked. I was like, okay. Anyway, she basically called Sam Elliott a bitch. I want to say this. Campion, she also said some racist things about Serena and Venus Williams. Okay, then she had to walk them back. Jane Campion isn't awful. She's I mean, I had to put Kathy Kennedy up there. She'd have done the same thing. She'd have said the exact same thing. Bette Midler would have said the exact same thing. Barbara Streisand would have said the exact same thing. This is what awfuls are. They are non-player characters who just go on automatic. The moment they see a big, good-looking alpha male like Sam Elliott call him out, they have to get their feathers ruffled. Okay, they condescend to people of color. They condescend to their to the LGBTQ population. They don't care about you. Okay, they care about how they look. Here's an example. My oldest sister is a fundraiser. Oh, I hated it too, Dave. It was a terrible movie. And she gets her pictures taken with different inner city kids. Getting her, having the trumpet blown before her for all the glorious things she does. She doesn't care about them. She's not doing that for them. She's doing that for herself. That's virtue signaling. Okay. Jesus said in the Bible, they do this out there, so everybody sees them. They're not doing it for the glory of God. All right. They've got their reward. Okay. That's not good. All right. And these women who do that, virtue signaling, they're not doing that because they care about, these minority groups. They do it to look good for everybody else. They do it for power. The great white female savior. When they talk to a black man, they turn him into, old Tom. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it personally. You can't imagine sitting in a cab in Ireland and listening to them talk to the cabbie like he's a child. Oh, I read this book. Oh, you poor, shut up. These people have been battling for their country since before Cromwell, okay? The guy just gave us a dissertation on the history of Ireland, and then we've got Mrs. Mouth sitting next to me telling the guy more, things about his history that aren't true, all right? And B, are irrelevant, and making it about her. It's narcissism. Oh, yeah, I can't, part of the reason why I don't talk to two of my sisters is that they're awfuls, okay? And they belittle you. They belittle my father, okay? Oh, Daddy, oh, for Christ's sakes, stop it. Nothing pisses me off more than seeing a spoiled, rotten boomer belittle and try to turn their grown parent who doesn't have Alzheimer's, who's sharper than they are, into a 10-year-old. And that's exactly what they did. They did it to my brothers too, because my brothers are alpha males, and they couldn't stand it. Okay, I did everything I could to piss them off. When I was a kid, after Dad got, yeah, that was at Celebration 2019, and then Favreau saw the scripts and went, Or was it D23? I think it was actually D23. Because I just remember it feeling like it was in California closer to Christmas. Okay? I don't know why. And if it was in December of 2019, that was after Mando came out. So it makes sense that Favreau and Filoni would look at the scripts and go, oh, wait a second. And, you know, they're giving Kathy Kennedy the opportunity to say, well, I put the kibosh on production because blah, 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 whatever. Whatever. You know, we'll pretend like you mattered, that you were relevant to any of these decisions, if it makes you happy and shuts you up. She's just, you know, so, you know, and that was an Iger problem too. He did not step up to the plate with all this. He had to bring in Favreau and Filoni to fix it. Okay, I'll tell you something else. I think Dave Filoni got his job in the middle of summer in 2020. Okay? I think that's when he got the job. All right? That's what. Okay? Yeah, it's, yeah, I understand, Dave. But this is just, it's gonna get, we're gonna, look, there are people amongst us that want to see this Kenobi sink. All right? And it doesn't have anything to do with whether it's good or not. But I really think fans as a community have to decide, two things. Disney's not ever selling Lucasfilm, so suck it up, Buttercup. And B, when it's good, we need to support it. When it's shitty, we need to tell them, no, we don't like this. How hard is that? Okay? We got a bunch of extremists amongst us. We got a bunch of people who aren't in it to do anything about, to do the good thing for the culture. They're not there to do what's right in the culture. Okay, they're there to make money and attach themselves to people like Alex Jones and Glenn Beck and Blaze TV. And you know, look, when Andrew Breitbart started Breitbart.com, he wasn't looking for those people. All right? He wasn't looking for unserious screamers like Glenn Beck does. He was looking for people who represented a certain part of the film industry. Gary Graham. You remember him? He was in Star Trek. I think he played Sarek in Star Trek. It's a friend of mine. You got Nick Searcy. You got my friend Charlie Weinkoff. You got my friend Lee Scott. Okay? Others. I did a thing for one of his editors, the late, great Mike Flynn, who was a god. I loved him. Everybody loved Mike. At Big Government. He basically had categories for everything. Big Hollywood, Big Government, and other things. Yep, yeah, and Cameron's right. That's exactly right. And it's obvious to me. All right, I don't need things explicitly told to me, but you have to have a practiced eye to see this. You know, I could tell you this. Here's an example. Anthony Weiner gets caught with sending dick pics to underage girls. Andrew Breitbart gets him. Starts stripping the information out on Twitter. Drip, drip, drip. He doesn't put it all out there right away so he could give Weiner a chance to deny it and to come up with a narrative. Drip, drip, because it confuses the object of the information, okay? That's why you do it. You withhold stuff. And watching the Democrats circle the wagons around Weiner was, I'm going to say this, a lesson in how somebody gets the kibosh and gets kicked off the team. They said, "Oh, he's great. This is what's happening to him is terrible. Blah blah blah, and we support him." Week later, Andrew Breitbart walks into a hastily called press conference by Anthony Weiner, and Weiner never shows up. And all the reporters suddenly realize that Breitbart's there. He gets up and gives a press conference. The Democrats had cut Weiner off because then they realized it was true. They also knew it was probably true, but they were trying to protect him because he was an influential voice in Congress, okay? He was Hillary Clinton's boy. In fact, I'm going to tell you guys something. He was slated to run for mayor of New York, okay? You don't want that guy to be mayor of New York. De Blasio was bad enough, all right? But having Hunter Biden as mayor of New York, you might as well just get having de Blasio as mayor of New York, you might as well just get Hunter Biden, if you're going to get Anthony Weiner, which, there you go. But when you see people, oh, Kathy's great, we hope we work with her for a long time to come. That is a meaningless statement by the CEO of a company. He is not going to say, to make all the black pills happy, that she sucks. Every movie she's ever made has been a downward grade. That The Force Awakens was the height, and everything else has been down, 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 down. Okay, he's not going to say that she made terrible decisions. Especially to the investors, it would be unprofessional of him to do that. Okay, can't do it. Now, what does he say behind the scenes? We've got to get rid of her. All right. What does he say to Susan Arnold? These are the financials for Lucasfilm. All right. The board knows she's got to go. Okay. This article in the Hollywood Reporter proves that they asked Jon Favreau to step in. She didn't know what she was doing. And when I read that it was too much like Lone Wolf and Cub, it's like, Luke and Obi-Wan go on some sort of adventure? What? Darth Maul's supposed to be the bad guy. Where's Vader? Where is he? But now, it looks to me, oh yeah, and Cameron's right about that. You cannot, in an investors meeting, trash her publicly. Okay, it would be stock suicide. The entire board would get fired. Okay? All right. Is Bob Chapek afraid of her? No. Why would he? She doesn't have anything on him. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I've heard some pretty stupid things. All right. Does she have anything on Iger? Yeah. They party together. All right. She knows who that guy is. If anybody's afraid of anybody, she's afraid of Chapek. All right. Is she afraid of Susan Arnold? Well, if Doomcock's rumor was true that they had a meeting and Arnold very nicely said, go pound sand. Yeah, she's afraid of Susan Arnold. Kennedy is not the most powerful woman in Hollywood anymore. And she hasn't been. The apex of her power was in 2018. And again, are we still in 2018? No. We've had 2 congressional elections, a stupid presidential election, which basically devolved into mayhem, and now we've got a demented old pervert in the White House who can't remember if it's tapioca hour or not, who's making us look stupid, by the way. We've gone through a pandemic, the government jerking our chains. We have skyrocketing inflation. Russia decided to go bebop into the Ukraine. The Iranians are firing cruise missiles at our consulate in Iraq. And we've got the Chinese. Yeah, I'd be afraid of her too. You're right, Cameron. We've got the Chinese doing the rumba around circling Taiwan. Oh, not to mention this. Guess who's testing an intercontinental ballistic missile again? The North Koreans. Okay, times have changed, all right? You got Zaslav coming into Warner, basically already taking control and shuffling movies around and probably asking the people who made Aquaman 2 to please do something about Amber Heard, okay? You know, things are changing, all right? To be stuck in 2018 is not to be living in the present. Let's bring everybody to the present now, okay? Let's see. We got this article now basically saying Jon Favreau is the behind-the-scenes person of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. We've got Kennedy losing the Children of Blood and Bone. The author saying, I don't like her, can I take my book back? And Disney saying, we're going to put it on the auction block. Whoever wants it, go with God. And that happened in October when she was dancing around, marching around, saying how much she wanted to do that movie. Acolyte, despite getting a production coordinator and a casting director, hasn't moved at all. And it's the 14th of March. They've got about a month and a half before they have to start. Oh yeah, Cameron's right. They're in the hot tub machine 2018. They are. They got to start casting. Yeah, 28. Yeah, Cameron, you're right. You're totally right. They have to start thinking about where they're going to do the movie, TV show. What stages are they going to use? Is it going to be in England or here in America? And I tell you something. Ahsoka starts filming in April. Okay. Mandalorian 3 is almost ready to wrap. Okay. You hearing anything different? Seeing something funny going on? Where is this show gonna, is it even on any productions? The things that are filming in England and or season 2. That was given to Favreau too. Okay, he's basically the king of Star Wars now. And I gotta say, to the black pills that I've heard recently, attacking Favreau and Filoni, what do you want? What do you want? This is why people like me often look at people and go, are you really a Star Wars fan? I have to say that. And the reason why is because the Book of Boba Fett was a good story. Sure, it had problems. I will say that, I will be honest. But it didn't hurt, in my opinion, the character. He was not, they call him cucked. Was he, I remember the rumors where we were supposed to get a female Boba Fett. Then he takes off the costume and that's a woman underneath. That was Kennedy's idea. Where do you think Omega came from? Okay? All right, he was not cucked. He was not gender swapped. Okay? This is telling a story. Characters grow over time and change. No, they wouldn't. They can't. Cameron, they can't. Like I said, I don't understand what people want. Everybody wants good Star Wars. Mandalorian season 1 and 2 were great. Boba Fett was fine. It wasn't anything to write home about, but I have watched it more than once now. And it's not like I can't pollute my vision like I'd feel like if I ever got stuck watching TLJ again. Kenobi looks spectacular. I mean, Favreau and Filoni told Deborah Chow to go big. It looks like she did. This looks unbelievably awesome. I mean, and the people nitpicking about the Grand Inquisitor not looking right. I don't know why you're upset. It's an actor. Okay, they chose the actor because he probably tested fine. All right, and he probably did it the way that they envisioned the Grand Inquisitor to be. All right, so I don't know what you want. Okay, and if that's your only bitch, then you really ain't got one. Oh yeah, we are. Oh yeah, Mazeros is right. Carameter's right. We're back to the nitpicking that Lucas had to suffer through with the sequel trilogy, with the prequels trilogy. I'm of the opinion that if you haven't seen the prequels for a while, go back and watch them again. All right. I did. This was me. I got the flu in 2017 really bad. In fact, I go on Facebook and I see the stuff I was posting at the time, and it made me laugh because I was miserable. And I decided I want to watch, or maybe it's 2016. I want to watch Star Wars. So I watched 4 through 6, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to watch the Phantom Menace. Watched it. It's a pretty good movie. Yeah, and you're right. You're right, Cameron. It costs too much. Again, if that's what we're gonna nitpick, what do you want? So then I watched Attack of the Clones. Easily probably not the best of all 3 of those movies, but still, it was a good story and I enjoyed it. All right. Then I watched Revenge of the Sith. That is a good movie. I don't care who you are. We got to actually really see Coruscant again. We got to find out more about Dooku. We got to see all this stuff. We got to see Anakin fall. Okay? We got to figure out and see why and what was going on and all the things and the petty stupidity and bugaboos of Mace Windu and all the rest. And it was a good show. So I gotta ask prequel haters, why don't you watch it again? Sit down and watch each. Okay, you wanna know why they don't want to? Because they're afraid they're gonna realize they were wrong and they're gonna like it. Yeah, I thought it was a good movie. I mean, it had its moments, but still, it was a good story. It was exactly what George wanted to make, which was a Buck Rogers serial thing going on, and it was Star Wars, okay? And we actually got to see the clones for the first time. I look at all the crying and the whining and the ranting and raving, and I think, to me, it's hard for me to believe that Star Wars has survived as long as it has. Because, let me tell you, there are fans like us who hated the sequels, laugh at the trashy High Republic, and mock all the other books that have come out. Didn't like Resistance, thought it was stupid. And then there are fans who, because of the sequels, they hate everything. Okay. We've got a church clarion literally next door, and they play hymns twice a day. noon, and at 6. It's a Methodist church. But what I find fascinating is that they've played several Catholic Marian hymns on that thing. Anyway, so I gotta go because it's hard for me to, you know, emote while I'm over that. So you guys have a good afternoon. I think everything is looking good. And, you know, let's just see what Chapek does about Pixar. Because I liked Jason's idea. Just sell it. All right? There's a lot of good content Disney hasn't put on that is Disney content. They haven't put on Disney Plus yet. Anyway, this is Steph signing out. I'll see you around the galaxy and may the